How's it going, everybody, and welcome to Justin Buddy's podcast. I'm your host, Ryan.
And I'm your host, Daniel.
And today we're doing a podcast.
Woo!
If you're new to the channel, please smash that subscribe button. Hit it hard. Hit it like as if you're playing Fruit Ninja and you want to slice, 7 fruits in a row.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, like a little nice.
yeah, with some aggression, though. Swipe it up.
Nice
Or
little.
I guess click it. Also, hit the like button. If this video gets 3,000 likes, we'll be giving away one of these hot toys to one of you guys, so just make sure you leave a comment. Something you want us to talk about on the show. Something that you guys want us, I don't know, just a random thought. A question you might want to be answered. We will answer it. And also, comment what you guys want us to talk about next week. As you're going to see throughout this video, we took your suggestions from last week and we're talking about it this week. Also, check out our Patreon. If you want to come on the podcast, if you want to be on a 24/7 Discord call with us or a conversation,
Yes.
hop into our Patreon. We will have everyone that's on Patreon on the podcast. If they would like to be on the podcast, they just have to let us know. We'll be having live discussions, live Q&As, live shows, extra content. So make sure you go to our Patreon. It's in the description and it's also in the top comments of this video. So make sure you go check it out. So let's get into the podcast.
I was waiting for that. So I think we're going to start with some weird, crazy news that happened this week.
Oh, crazy, weird news.
Apparently, we have now found that maybe in a few years, we can now start having lab-grown babies.
Lab-grown babies.
Yeah, so there was this scientist who recently just did an experiment on mice. Okay, so he took a male mouse
Okay.
and he took off like a piece of its skin, like its tissue.
Yeah.
And they were able to turn that into stem cells,
Okay.
and then they could turn that cell into anything they want.
So they have a mouse.
Yes.
They take the skin,
Like they take a piece of the skin.
take a piece of the skin,
Yeah.
take the stem cells from the piece of the skin
No, they're able to turn that skin into stem cells.
into stem cells.
Yeah.
And that stem cell now could become any organ they desire.
Right. It could like be transformed into anything.
Wow.
So what they did was they were able to transform the male skin
Okay.
into a female fertilized egg.
How do you turn skin into an egg?
Exactly. That's why it's crazy. They were able to use the stem cell like transformation capabilities to turn it into a female fertilized egg.
Wow.
And then they put that into female mice.
So what? Then the mouse.
And then it could be born as another mouse.
Okay, so they have a fertilized egg that goes into the female mouse.
Yeah.
That all started from the male skin,
From just a piece of skin.
and now it's gonna be.
And now it's going to be another mouse. So that mouse is now just coming from a piece of skin. So what they're saying is like that step in all these experiments could lead to humans being able to do that.
Okay, let me ask you this. What's your thoughts on this? Say there's stem cell technology, right? We have it for humans.
Right.
It's at early stages.
Yeah.
Obviously, some countries probably have more advanced usage of the stem cell.
Right.
But for you personally, say you're 90 years old.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you lived. A lot of your loved ones have died off.
Okay.
You're like kind of last one. You're living a very lonely life.
Yeah.
A doctor comes along and says to you, "Look, your heart is failing,
Uh-huh.
but we can use stem cell and get you a new heart, make you live another 30, 40, 50 years." Are you taking that?
Probably not.
Really?
I mean, okay. I mean, if I'm on my last leg of life.
Right, but
Right.
let me just make sure you understand the question. He is saying to you, "Look, Daniel, I know you've lived a tough life, right?
Right.
You're on your deathbed, but I can give you something
Uh-huh.
that will extend your life by 50 years. Are you taking it?"
Yeah, but what does that next 50 years look like? Because if I'm going to live like in a bed my whole those 50 years,
Right.
then it's not really worth it.
So that's the question, right? Is stem cell going to be able to improve all parts of everyone's body, or is it just select organs?
See, that's what we don't know.
I guess so.
But it's weird that they were able to use the skin and change that into stem cells, which then they could change into whatever they want.
yeah, that is really weird how that could happen.
Yeah.
I
Like,
guess, though,
that's the scary part.
if you get a new heart, say you do, right?
Yeah.
Your other organs are 90 years old, so
Exactly.
it's all going to come apart eventually.
See, that's what if you have a really healthy heart, but then all your other organs are failing, wouldn't that just make the heart fail again?
Yeah, it needs to all work together.
Yeah. I
Crazy.
don't know. Another scary thing is that this week,
Okay.
Neuralink just got FDA approved.
Neuralink. So Elon Musk's company.
Elon Musk's company Neuralink has now been FDA approved, and they have been approved to start human trial.
Okay, so for everyone who doesn't know Neuralink,
Yeah.
Neuralink, we saw the demonstration for some of us, not all of us, I guess. I don't want to assume.
Right.
But Neuralink had a demonstration where they showed a chimpanzee playing Pong, and they have this chip that goes inside the brain. Technically, the claims is if you have any kind of like mental disease or any kind of issue with your brain.
Yeah.
Neuralink could come in, step in, fix the issue, and make your brain function normally.
Right. I mean, they're claiming it could cure blindness, like paralysis, anything like that.
Right.
Which is kind of scary. That's insane. And now they're able to try it on a human. I think he announced it 2019.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, no, is it? Is it been that long?
I think it was.
2019. Okay, so we've been doing this. You and I have been doing this for 2 years. Hey, speaking of, today is 2 years. Justin Obeys has been around for 2 years.
2 years marks the day.
Marks the day. Today,
2 years
actually.
of Justin Nobody's. Happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday, everyone.
But yeah,
Sorry.
It's just scary that, because when you really think about it, you're putting this chip into someone's head.
Right.
And it's supposed to cure them of like their diseases and everything. It's kind of scary. What happens when that fails? Does everything just come back? You know what I mean? Like say you're blind and then you put the Neuralink in and it cures your blindness, but then it fails and then you're just blind again. Like I don't know how that's gonna work. Like, is it gonna heal the brain so it heals? Like if the Neuralink fails, then it already healed you, so you're fine. Or is it gonna like just bring everything back?
It's a really interesting concept. I mean, it seems very invasive. They say like, oh, it's not a big deal, but they are opening up your head, going in your brain,
right?
Putting a microchip in.
I mean, they're going under your skull. Yeah,
and what's so weird too is, I don't know like what level of control does the Neuralink have over the human body? You know what I mean? Like what can, like, you know, we talk about all the time how there's hacking, there's cybersecurity issues. So what's stopping someone from hacking into someone's Neuralink?
I know, something that I thought about. It's kind of like when Doc Ock's like chip like got fried.
Exactly. Yes.
And then the AI was like controlling him.
Right.
That's what's kind of scary about that.
Yeah. It is a question that needs to be talked about, because technically, you know, Elon Musk did say that the biggest threat to humanity is AI.
Right.
So I don't know if you could really design anything with enough firewall protection, enough cyber, you know, security to prevent something from being hacked by AI.
Yeah. I don't think you can anymore.
So Elon Musk, we wish you the best.
Yeah. Also, there was this news story of this man who went to a bar this week, and at this bar, I mean, you know how bars are, they could get very crowded.
Yeah.
Right. So the bathroom line at the bar was extremely long. So he said, okay, I'm not waiting in that line. I'm going to go outside and just pee in the pond. So he thought it was like just like a mini pond, but the pond actually ended up being really big.
Okay.
Insanely big pond.
Yeah.
And what he said was all he remembers of that night is him slipping or the ground just kind of falling out from under him, and he ended up in the pond. And that's all he remembers, okay?
Okay.
And then he wakes up in a hospital bed.
What?
Now what happened was he fell in and an alligator took his arm.
He fell in the pond and the alligator is in the pond?
Yeah, the alligator was in the pond,
okay.
Right? But he thought it was a small pond, right? So he didn't think there was an alligator in it.
Yeah.
But when he fell in, that's all he remembers. But when he woke up in the hospital bed, people found that the alligator attacked him and it took his arm off. And that's all he remembers is falling in.
Is it because did he fall and hit his head, or does he just have like so much adrenaline and shock that he can't remember what happened?
It must have been just so much adrenaline and shock.
Jeez.
Because he fell in and that's all he could recall. He didn't have any recollection of an alligator.
Does he recall any pain?
I don't know. All he said was he just knows he fell in.
Wow.
He didn't even remember how he fell in. He said, I either tripped or the ground went out from under me.
I mean, I guess good for him in terms of, I mean, not good for him, but like good for him that he doesn't recall reliving the pain.
Right.
It just happened. He woke up, arm's gone, but he doesn't recall the pain.
I also saw that Carrie Fisher, okay, Princess Leia.
Yeah.
The dress that she wears in episode 4.
Episode 4. The white dress.
A New Hope, yes. The white dress that she actually wore.
Got it.
Is now being sold. Now it's projected.
Wait, hang on.
Okay.
Before you tell me how much it's worth.
Okay.
Let's try to figure out. Let me take
take a guess, because I was way off.
You're way off.
I was way off.
Okay. So, episode 4, one of the most iconic movies of cinema history.
Yes.
Star Wars, New Hope. Carrie Fisher is wearing that dress like majority of the movie.
Right.
Like almost all of it.
It's got like the whole "You're my only hope," you know, it's all that. It's like some of the greatest scenes in cinema history, right? And one of the most iconic characters in cinema history.
So, I'm going to make a guess.
Yeah.
And I want everyone right now to make their guess too. We all know how much this movie means to us. Now, I want you to write down in the comment section how much you're willing to pay and how much you think it's going for. So I'll tell you right now.
Yeah. Just a reminder, though. This is the actual dress she wore in the movie. She was wearing this.
That makes it even more creepy.
Yeah.
Okay. So
sorry.
People are buying the dress she wore. Now, we've seen Steve Jobs' sandals.
Yeah.
Birkenstock, right?
Yes.
Shoes?
Yes.
Sell for, what was it again?
It was like something crazy. Hundreds of thousands.
Okay. So we've seen a pair of shoes sell for hundreds of thousands from someone that's iconic, right?
Yeah.
Now, Carrie Fisher, iconic. Star Wars, iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Such a beloved movie. So I would have to say it's on the same level as that. So I would guess if people paid $100,000 for Steve Jobs' shoes, I would assume that someone paid we're looking at upwards of $1 million.
Okay. So it's projected $1 to $2 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
If you look at all like other props, right, in movies, like even Tiger Woods' putter. You know, everyone knows that Tiger Woods is one of the best golfers alive.
Right.
And he has a putter that he's been using, you know, like for out of all his 15 major championships, he has 14 with this one putter. And I believe that putter is millions of dollars too. So I can only imagine that Carrie Fisher would be $1 million too.
Okay, you said one of the best golfers. Do you think Tiger's just one of the best, or is he the greatest of all time? Is he the Tom Brady of golf?
Well, I don't know how big our golf audience is on this podcast, and I don't want to bore anyone, but I will say that Tiger Woods will be, for anybody that likes golf, he will be the best golfer of our generation, just because the caliber of player, the conditions, everything that goes on in sports nowadays, it's way more advanced. The players back in the 60s, 70s, 80s were not nearly as good as the current group of all the PGA Tour golfers. So with that aspect, yeah, Tiger's the best.
Tiger's the GOAT.
I'm sorry to all you people that don't like sports. You probably skipped that part. But anyways, back to Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, so they said it gets auctioned off at like this random auction. I never heard of it, but yeah, they're projecting it $1 to $2 million for the dress.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do they say where the proceeds are going? Who owns it? Is it Carrie Fisher's estate, her daughter?
I don't know who owns it. They didn't say. They just said what it's projected to go.
Hopefully the money gets used in the right way, and the person who gets it uses it in the right way.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to this next segment. We are talking about movie news. I came across some crazy news this week. Now, for everyone who loves Cobra Kai, there is a big announcement.
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai. We have an announcement that Sony in 2024 would like to release a Karate Kid movie.
Interesting. So Cobra Kai, spinning off of Cobra Kai.
That's where everyone's going to have some doubts now. Okay, so Karate Kid 2024. We don't have a title for it yet.
Okay.
But we do know that there's a lot of success from Cobra Kai. Everyone loves Ralph Macchio.
Yes.
Everyone loves Johnny Lawrence's character. With that being said, the new Karate Kid movie that Sony wants to make will not have any Cobra Kai characters.
Wow.
Or original Karate Kid characters.
Wait, what? So completely new Karate Kid.
Yeah, completely new.
And teacher.
No. So that's where we're gonna get a little twisty. Okay, so let me just, before I talk, I'll just give you guys all the details first.
Okay.
I have the notes here. Okay, so this is the synopsis for the new movie. We have Jackie Chan back as Mr. Han.
Oh.
So Mr. Han is back from the 2010 Karate Kid movie with Jaden Smith. The plot of the movie is a character named Lee is a skilled fighter and a student in Beijing who has his life uprooted when his mom decides that they're moving to Brooklyn for a work opportunity. Lee is grappling with a past tragedy and bumping up against his mother, I guess his mom's a doctor, who's dealing with the same tragedy but in an altogether different manner. Lee meets Mia, who goes to his high school, and her dad, Victor, who runs a pizza restaurant in his new neighborhood in Brooklyn, and forms a bond with both. While his mother is against violence and kung fu, Lee finds purpose by training Victor in the art and finds himself back in the ring as well. Okay, so basically, to summarize what I just said, there's a character named Lee who's a young kid that was in Beijing. He's a fighter. He must have trained with Mr. Han. He goes to Brooklyn, starts a new life, meets a girl named Mia, and her dad used to be a fighter. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Lee, the kid, will train the father and help him get back to becoming a fighter again.
That's so interesting.
So it's role reverse, right? Usually it's Mr. Miyagi, Mr. Han training the kid, but this time the kid will be training the father figure.
Wow. And it's like a kid from Beijing is moving to New York.
Yeah.
And Jaden Smith, was his character from Brooklyn? I just know he moved to Beijing or China. I don't know where exactly in China.
I don't. You know, that's a good question. I don't remember.
They moved to China.
Right. What a weird way to go. I never questioned that. Like, why did he move to China? I can't remember the movie.
They're moving to Brooklyn, and the student of Mr. Han is going to be training an older father figure.
Right.
Wow. That's actually kind of interesting.
It is. It's going to be like, I mean, for me, personally, I really wanted a Ralph Macchio, Johnny Lawrence movie, but I guess we're getting the answers in Cobra Kai.
That is true. So this is completely different, but it sounds very. I would definitely watch that, but it seems like we're so used to seeing the immature kid being the fighter.
Yeah.
Now it's different. We're gonna see like an adult be the fighter.
Right. So I think that's where people are really divided on this movie. Some people are excited to see, like, you know, the opposite, where you see the kid become the teacher, but a lot of people are saying, like, gosh, like, you know, I really wanted Ralph Macchio. I really wanted to see him, or like a prequel or something, but they didn't want to see Mr. Han. Like, some people don't want that.
Yeah.
So I guess my question to you and to everyone at home, what is your ideal Karate Kid movie? If they came to you and said, hey, 2024, you got to make a Karate Kid movie, any character you want, any storyline, what would it be? And you have to do it in 30 seconds. Explain.
Okay, it'd be interesting to see the kids from Cobra Kai now doing some sort of crossover with Jaden Smith somewhere.
Okay.
Whether it be, like, I mean, you did a theory, right? How Jaden Smith could be in Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think a crossover like that would be cool, because then we could have, like, this whole big universe of Karate Kid.
What do they call it? The Miyagiverse.
The Miyagiverse.
Yeah.
So I feel like it could be like that.
But technically, Jaden Smith is not Miyagiverse, because
technically
Mr. Han is.
Mr. Han, yeah. I know a big, like, split between the Jaden Smith Karate Kid and the regular Karate Kid it's Kung Fu.
Right. And it looks like this new Karate Kid movie will be Kung Fu also.
Yeah. That's what's interesting. Do you really call it the Karate Kid then? You know?
Yeah.
I know that was a big argument about Jaden Smith's movie and Jackie Chan's. So, I don't know.
Okay, my next question is, what do you think would be better, more successful, okay?
Okay.
Jackie Chan returning or Ralph Macchio returning in a movie? What box office do you think is going to do better? Keep in mind, Jackie Chan, Rush Hour, a lot of great movies. Box office, he does pretty well in the box office.
Yeah.
Ralph Macchio, you know, he had The Outsiders. He was on The Karate Kid.
Yeah.
He really hasn't been acting in movies, big box office movies. So in terms of that alone, we do know there's a lot of success, a lot of hype from Cobra Kai.
Right.
But what do you think would do better? Jackie Chan coming back or Ralph Macchio?
Ooh. Now, is everybody with Ralph Macchio coming with him?
No, I think it's just talking about the lead. I'm not even talking about
the lead.
The other characters.
Since Jackie Chan has been, I guess, in a way, more successful and been in those movies more, I feel like Jackie Chan being the lead would be more successful. Like, that's the safe play. You know what I mean? I think Ralph Macchio is more of a risk.
Interesting.
But I don't know. That's how I feel.
I think people have not. Yeah, that's a good take. I mean, I feel like that's good. I mean, for me, I think there's a lot of hype around Cobra Kai.
There is, yeah.
And I think that it would be interesting. There's a resurgence of people that loved Ralph Macchio in the 80s when he had a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
A lot of kids liked Ralph Macchio when he was on The Karate Kid. In turn, he had a lot of roles. But over time, like, he kind of dwindled out of show business.
Mm-hmm.
But with Cobra Kai, it resurged, like, all these people that are in their 50s that grew up watching Karate Kid and all these new kids liking Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
That I think it might actually turn to Ralph Macchio's favor to have a Ralph Macchio lead movie.
Interesting. Because for me, I know a lot of the kids of this generation watching Cobra Kai really like the kids in that show. I mean, yes, they like the Ralph Macchio, Johnny Lawrence rivalry, but I feel like a lot of them like the kids more. You know, that's why I asked, is everybody coming with him? Because if everybody comes with him, I think the Ralph Macchio movie would do better.
Interesting. I mean, I don't know if they would come with him. But yeah. My whole thing was, everyone wants, you know, either Jackie Chan or Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
So that's the question, everyone. Comment what you think. Would you rather have Ralph Macchio back, or would you rather have Mr. Han?
It's a good question, man.
Okay, on to the next piece of news. We have Spider-Man 2, the Insomniac video game.
Ooh.
The trailer was just released as a 12-minute gameplay trailer, and it looks really good. We see the trailer starts off with Kraven the Hunter. He's on a quest. He's finding things that are... He's on a... He has... Okay, in the comics, his desire is to hunt things, right? He hunts things for sport.
Yeah.
And we see in the beginning of the trailer, he is tired of hunting the same stuff. Nothing's challenging him. So he wants to go find a better challenge.
Yes.
We see that he looks at New York City. You know, on his little device, we see Miles Morales, we see Spider-Man, we see Black Cat, we see the Prowler. We see that he is going after New York to be able to hunt down all the super metahumans, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
Now, the big surprise in this trailer is that we finally get to see Spider-Man Peter Parker in the symbiote suit.
Yes.
We see him using all his powers. We see like a darker side, right?
Yeah.
Even his dialogue is a lot more dark.
Right.
And for everyone who didn't play the first game, basically what happens in the first game is at the end of the game, there's like a post-credit scene where we see Harry Osborn in this green tank. And in this green tank, he is surrounded by the black symbiote.
Mm-hmm.
But he looks really sick. And Norman Osborn walks up to him and says, like, hey, son, like, I'll help you, whatever you need. But we see in the new game, Peter Parker is wearing the symbiote suit. So theory is that Peter Parker had to use the symbiote suit from Harry. So Harry may be dying because he doesn't have the symbiote anymore.
Yes.
And with that being said, we know that Miles and Peter is on the hunt for Dr. Connors.
Dr. Connors, yes.
And at the same time, Kraven the Hunter is after Dr. Connors.
Yes.
And for everyone who doesn't know, Dr. Connors is the Lizard. And we see how they're after the Lizard. And it makes sense that Peter Parker may be going after the Lizard to have Dr. Connors to come back to help Harry Osborn be able to live. Like, maybe he has the answers.
Yes. I mean, the Lizard we see is insane, too. Like, it's not the Lizard we're used to in The Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Yeah.
It is definitely more menacing looking.
Yeah, it is. So I guess my question is, what is your thoughts? What do you feel are you most excited about to be able to play with the symbiote suit?
Oh my god. Okay, they made the symbiote suit look so powerful. I mean, just seeing all the abilities.
Yeah.
We obviously haven't seen everything. But just seeing from what we saw, that symbiote suit is going to be so fun to play. I think my favorite thing, I think this was announced a while ago, but they will have a symbiote suit for every version of the suit you wear in the game.
Wow.
So you know how there's a lot of suits in the first game?
Right.
So I think there's going to be a symbiote version for every single one of those additional suits that you can play.
Wow, that'd be really sick.
Yeah.
Like a Spider-Punk with symbiote?
Exactly. So I think that's probably my favorite part. I also heard some news. So I think the voice actor who plays Miles actually leaked that it's co-op.
I know. I saw that.
Yeah.
Right? But then I think it was confirmed that he may have misunderstood. I think the game's... Okay, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Insomniac said that you have the option to switch between, Peter and Miles.
Peter and Miles, yeah.
But you also have the option to play as Venom.
Oh.
So I think that maybe that's what co-op meant.
Oh, I see.
But who knows?
Like switching between is co-op.
Right.
Yeah. Because you get the dual team. Okay.
Before I get into Spider-Verse, I want to talk about one other thing. We do know that in this Cross Spider-Verse trailer, one of the trailers or TV spots, we see that the Insomniac Spider-Man is in the movie.
Yes.
So my question is, if Insomniac Spider-Man is in Across the Spider-Verse, do you think the symbiote Spider-Man, or any kind of symbiote lore or suit will be in the Across the Spider-Verse movie?
Ooh, that would be interesting. That would actually be kind of crazy, because if there's a symbiote in Across the Spider-Verse, the symbiote in every other universe will know what that symbiote knows.
Oh, because like the hive mind.
The hive mind.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
Yeah, I think we might get a glimpse of it.
Yeah, apparently, before I get into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse.
I have in my hand right here all the reviews
of
the Spider-Verse. So I thought we would go in deep and review them. But before I get into that, comment, guys, what you think of Insomniac 2 Spider-Man game. Are you going to pre-order it? Are you going to buy it? What are you most excited for?
Yeah.
I mean, I heard, right, that the Green Goblin might even be in the game, too.
Yeah, there were some leaked images of the glider or something, and like the green smoke. I mean, we did see, though, in the gameplay trailer, there was green poison smoke. It could be false, but could be true.
Okay, so moving on, we are going to be talking about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Now, last couple days ago, there was a early screening for Across the Spider-Verse.
Ooh.
And a lot of people were able, reviewers, critics were able to give their insight and review on the movie. So I thought we would go through today, and I'll read off some of the reviews.
Okay. Oh, I'm kind of nervous now.
Now, to be transparent with everyone, this coming Tuesday, right, Tuesday?
Yes.
Daniel and I will be going to the Across the Spider-Verse premiere.
World premiere
for Across the Spider-Verse. And we are super excited.
Yes.
So we are watching it. We are excited. It's
Yes.
going to be amazing. So let's get into these reviews. So first, we have Collider.
Ooh.
Stephen Wintraub. I hope I didn't butcher your name. I'm so sorry. I'm probably going to misspell these or mispronounce these names. Here we go. Absolutely love Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Wanted to push pause about 100 times to study the incredible artistry on display. Cannot recommend this film enough and are already looking forward to seeing it again next time in IMAX.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a good one.
That's pretty good.
I mean, we expect the artwork to be up to par, if not better, than the first one.
Yeah, I feel like he didn't really give much, though. Just moving on. Discussing films. Andrew Salzar. Let's see. It says, Across the Spider-Verse is yet another milestone for animation.
Wow.
Yes, it's gorgeous, visually mind-blowing, but this sequel surpasses the first for always putting Miles and his family front and center.
Wow.
Spider-Gwen was also rightfully steps deeper into the spotlight, co-owning the film. Salazar also continued by saying a massive celebration for Spider-Man fans everywhere, while highlighting that Miles' story always comes before everything else. This feels like a massive celebration, whether you love the movies, games, comics, etc., but again, all the cameos and multiversal elements come second to both Miles and Gwen's story. For my money, this could be the best comic book movie of 2023.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we got a lot there. He said it surpassed the first one.
Surpasses the first one, and also he thinks that it could be the best superhero movie of 2023. Assuming that Salazar also saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and The Flash,
Yes.
which he probably did, that
Right.
means he's saying that this one is better.
Wow. Oh my. Okay, I have goosebumps from that one. That was giving. Oh my god.
Okay, the next one, The Raps. Drew Taylor. Here we have emotional, depth, and beautiful. This is the exact words. Here we go. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is stunning achievement. Yes, it's visually dazzling with expressive new realms. Gwen's world is my favorite, but the movie's real superpower is its emotional depth and its beautiful melancholic tone. I love this movie so much. Cinema Blends Sean O'Connell says, okay, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse lives one step above masterpiece. It's an actual work of art. Every frame deserves to be hung in a museum. The jokes and nods to Spidey lore are perfect. It's outstanding in all caps. The best Spider-Man movie might be my favorite movie ever. Cherish
Oh my
it.
gosh.
That is crazy.
That's okay. That's a statement right there.
Best, not only best Spider-Man movie, he's saying best movie ever.
That's insane.
Not just comic book movie, he's saying movie ever. Okay, The Hollywood Reporter's Brian Davids. He says, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is yet another win for the Lord Miller produced universe. Haley Steinfeld really comes into her own as Gwen Stacy, and her scenes with Captain Stacy are truly special. It's darker and sadder than I expected, but necessary. Ooh,
Wow.
it's going to be sad. Okay, The Real Blends, Jake Hamilton. He says here that he compared the Spider-Verse sequel to Star Wars original trilogy. The movie's a darker tale, like Empire Strikes Back, it says.
Interesting.
The moment Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse ended, I knew it experienced a cinematic moment I cherish forever.
Wow.
If Into the Spider-Verse is a new hope, this is Empire. Darker, more powerful, and better in every way. It's going to be a long wait until March 24th. March 2024. How does this movie exist? Comicbook.com. Aaron, I'm not going to pronounce. I don't know how to say this. Okay, here we go. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse lives up to the hype in every conceivable way. Miles Morales absolutely shines in his second Marvel movie adventure. Gwen Stacy takes her place at the head of this table too. Tones of heart on display in every corner of this one. Okay.
Wow.
Comic book resources. Ashley Sanders says, Across the Spider-Verse is everything in all caps.
Ooh.
The animation is next level. Every Spidey is perfect. The surprises are insanely epic.
Surprises.
We love surprises. And the music is fire. You'll be on the edge of your seat. But this ride is wild. It feels so good to back. The Nerds of Colors review says, OMG, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is mind-blowing. The animation, the writing, the music, and everything is simply amazing. I'm not even overhyping it. It deserves the hype. OMG, they did it again.
Wow.
As we know, guys, Into the Spider-Verse did win Best Animation Film Feature at the Oscars, Academy Awards. So if all these people are saying it's surpassing, all these things are going, it seems like we got a good film coming.
Yeah. I mean, I want to go back to the one about Gwen's world. They said Gwen's world was his favorite.
Yeah.
Now, I think we get a little snippet of this in the trailer that Gwen's Spider-Man or Peter Parker dies. Right?
Interesting.
I think we get to see that.
Oh, we do?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yes, we do.
So I'm really excited to see Gwen's world now.
Yes, I am very excited. It is going to be some, interesting side stories within this major story.
Right, and I forgot who the person was, but they said that every Spider-Man is perfect, and there's a lot of surprises.
Yes.
Now, I like how we get every Spider-Man is perfect because we know that we're going to get a lot of Spider-Mans in this movie. So getting to interact with every single one of them and they're saying it's perfect, like that's insane.
Yeah, it is going to be crazy. It is going to be full of surprises. As we see in the trailer, there's so many different Spider-Man. But my question I want to talk about is, what do you think they're going to do to make this movie darker? Make it like The Empire Strikes Back. As we know, in Empire Strikes Back, the heroes lose, right? We see Carbon.
Yes.
We see Han Solo get frozen in carbonite. We see Darth Vader win. Luke Skywalker loses his hand. He finds out that his dad's crazy. So there's a lot that happens. But we know that The Return of the Jedi is around the corner. So with that being said, what do you think is going to make this movie The Empire Strikes Back of the series?
Well, I think we're definitely going to see them lose something. Miles is going to lose something big.
Right. And it looks like his dad.
Yeah.
He has a choice to either, in the trailer, it seems like they're trying to make the story to be either you lose your dad and everyone lives, or you save your dad and everything goes crazy.
Right. It's kind of like that line, like, you need to choose who you're going to save. Like, how do you choose? So it's definitely good. It's definitely going to be dark in the Gwen aspect, seeing her story. But for Miles, they're definitely going to lose the battle. I feel like this is the whole start to the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Start to the big battle. So I think they're definitely going to lose if everybody's saying it's The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. It's just that's the premise of Empire Strikes Back, right?
I don't know what exactly they're going to do, but like you just said, like he's probably going to lose his dad, so I think that's going to be one of the reasons, like the big loss of the movie.
So kind of going off that, what do you think the movie will end like? What do you think we're going to see at the end that's going to get us excited for the next movie? As we know, it's a 2-part movie. So how do you see this one ending?
I see this one ending as his name's The Spot, right?
Yes.
I think we're going to see, because we got that weird, wacky picture of him looking very menacing. Have you seen that? It's like the whole, like, everything's like glitching out and he's like,
yeah.
I think it's going to end with him. Like, we're going to see like the unleashed power of him, the unlocked power. Like, it's going to end with him being like, it's going to be like, how do you beat that now? You know what I mean? When we see in Infinity War, Thanos has the stones.
Yeah.
You think, how are we going to win? It's going to be like that. He's going to be so powerful, you're going to be thinking, how are we going to win this?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you feel, though, the Spot is the bad guy, or do you think it's a misdirect?
I mean, it could always be a misdirect, but I think it's got to be the Spot. Right?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be, like, they make him look really goofy. Right? I think that's the misdirect. They make him look kind of goofy in the beginning.
Yeah. Maybe he's luring Miles in. So I guess, with that one quote from the review, it did say that there's crazy surprises. And we all know when someone drops the word crazy surprises in a superhero film, as of now, it kind of means like crazy cameo, crazy gadget reveal, crazy something. So I think for everyone in the Spider-Man mindset, it's Tobey and Andrew.
It's got to be.
So do you feel that Tobey and Andrew are in this film?
I think they are going to be in it because, like you said, big surprises nowadays means cameos.
Yeah,
right.
For the most part.
And we already said a big surprise was seeing Insomniac Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And we saw Spectacular Spider-Man. So I think it's coming that we're going to see Tobey and Andrew.
That will be amazing. That not only do we get No Way Home with Tobey and Andrew being the main surprises, but we get this film and the main surprises are Tobey and Andrew again.
Yeah, I mean, technically, Spider-Man 2099, right, he mentions Tom Holland in a way.
Right. And Gwen Stacy also goes up to 2099 and says like, "Hey, are you like the Blue Panther?" Basically showing that she knows who Black Panther is.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, callbacks, and we know there's also a TV spot that came on where we actually see Dr. Ock in the TV spot.
Oh.
And it's the same line from No Way Home.
The Hello Peter.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, who knows, right? But he might be in it.
Okay, there we go then. I think it's definitely very likely that they're in it.
Yeah. It's going to happen. It's going to be exciting.
Oh, man.
Okay, on to the next part of news. We have Deadpool 3 is in trouble.
Trouble?
Deadpool 3 has just started production.
Okay.
Okay. We know amidst all the writer strikes going on, a lot of writers are not on set.
Right.
And just to be clear, so everyone understands, when you have a movie and you have a writer on the movie, the writer has basically a final say in what make the changes that are made.
Mm-hmm.
They have cohorts where they talk about it. But with this case, since there's no writers on set, Ryan Reynolds cannot change the script at all.
Oh.
So usually on movie sets, when you have a script, right, you write it on paper, the studio reads it. They're like, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
You go on set, you start filming, and all of a sudden the actor's reading the line for the first time in front of everyone on the set, and they're filming, and they're like, oh, this doesn't sound right.
Uh-huh.
In our heads it sounded right, but
Yeah.
now when we're actually doing the scene, it doesn't sound right. So they go and they change it. But in this case, since there's no writers on set or available, they cannot make any changes.
Oh. And Ryan Reynolds is known for improvising and changing
Right.
lines,
So
right?
Deadpool 1 and 2, heavily improvised. So many scenes were changed just on the spot because Ryan Reynolds is so funny.
Yeah.
So they're having trouble now when they're shooting these scenes. Ryan Reynolds wants to change things, but he can't.
Oh.
Legally.
Wow.
He can legally, it's illegal for him to do it.
Interesting.
So it's kind of throwing off the set right now. And I think they're running into a lot of issues that they're saying we should just postpone this maybe.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's a big roadblock to have, because even in Free Guy, we hear that Ryan Reynolds improvised a lot and changed things. I mean, yeah, that has its own thing that's separate from Marvel, right? But it's just interesting that he can't do that now.
Yeah. As we know, Ryan Reynolds, he's just hilarious on his own.
Yeah.
So if you don't let him be funny, it's not going to be that funny.
Yeah,
I don't think
it won't be the Ryan Reynolds we know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm excited. We're all excited for Logan, Deadpool
Yes.
coming back. On to the next piece of news. Okay, we know that the Terminator series, Terminator. Talk about the Terminator.
Okay.
Is one of the most iconic movies of all time.
Yeah.
Now, as of recent, the movies haven't been all that great.
Right.
But Arnold Schwarzenegger, to have him back, in any form, is always cool to see.
Yeah.
So recently, James Cameron, who created Terminator 1 and 2, he is talking about how he is making a script for a new Terminator movie.
Really?
So Terminator came out in the 80s, and then Terminator 2 came out in 1991, and it's one of the most, high-tech, ahead of its time movies of all time.
Right.
And James Cameron was a huge part of that, but after the second movie, he stepped away, and I believe he didn't work on it at all. So for him to come back, there's hope, right? Ever since Terminator 2, the films haven't been as great.
Right.
That's saying it nicely.
Yeah,
but
nice, very nice.
James Cameron coming back. He's working on this script. Apparently, he's been writing the script for 3 months now.
Oh.
But he stopped because he said he wants to see how AI progresses. Now, not that he wants to use AI, I don't think, to make the script, but he wants to see what changes he needs to make to his script. If AI goes in a crazy direction where it's super evil and it does all these crazy things, and he wants to learn more about it to incorporate it into the movie.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. He is working on it. I think James Cameron, if people don't know who James Cameron is, he literally is doing Avatar. He created Avatar.
Right.
So Avatar 1 and 2, phenomenal movies. So to have him back in a Terminator movie, it's really exciting.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's big news, because when's the last time we got a Terminator movie?
Not that long ago. I think it was 2018 or 19.
2018, 19. Yeah, okay, yeah.
I guess my question is, what do you think they need to do to reinvent the Terminator franchise?
For the time the 1 and 2 came out, it was so revolutionary.
Yeah.
Right? Like you said, the technical advances, the futuristic, bringing the future to the past.
You want to know how they change it? I'll just make it really simple.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, they need to get off the John Connor thing, okay?
Yeah.
John Connor, you just got to stop it, all right?
Right.
You got to just put Terminator in the middle of a war, or somewhere totally different.
Yeah.
get off the whole Sarah John Connor thing, right? Kyle Reese, like we get it. You need to go back. You need to let him win. You need to, all that. I think they need to separate that storyline, and I know it always goes back to that, but I think it would be interesting to see, or you see like what's life like for Terminator, like a Terminator somewhere else within the future, not always going back.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So they would be in like the Terminator's time.
Right.
Oh.
I don't think there's anything like you're talking about, like you were going to say, like how revolutionary the first 1 and 2 is.
Right.
Like James Cameron done it. Like you really can't like reinvent the wheel here.
Yeah.
But you can change the story. Like the last so many movies have been
the same. It's all been connected because of one thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they need to just change the destination, change the story.
Yeah.
Put the characters somewhere else.
Yeah, it almost needs to be like a whole different world, like whole different universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It needs to be like if this happened in the world, what would Terminator be like in that world?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, or I think like even if they had like a Terminator go rogue and he's in the middle of somewhere and he has to try to fight his way through corrupted Terminators or something, like a war of Terminators fighting each other, and really like not just have one bad Terminator versus the good Terminator.
Yeah. And
like them trying to protect Sarah and John Connor. I think it just needs to be a little different.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting though. Terminator's coming back.
Yeah. It is going to be interesting like to see what James Cameron can do, but he is so busy. Like he's going to do like 6 avatars, right?
Yeah. Okay. That's what I think we talked about this a while ago, but 3 is done.
Right.
4 and 5 are already written out. They're like the script is finalized.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And didn't he say like for the 4th one or 5th one, the studio gave him no notes and said it was just effing. He's like they said F word, like effing brilliant.
Yeah. I think they said that it was like perfect. Like effing perfect.
That's amazing.
So I mean, I don't know. I'm excited for 3 because we're gonna get introduced to a new group.
Yeah.
Like we did in 2, right? So and they're gonna be a more evil group.
It will be cool to see avatars versus avatars.
Yeah. Oh, because I mean, we're probably gonna see that bad group of avatars team up with the humans. Humans, right?
Yeah.
And they're gonna fight.
Moving on in the podcast, let's get into some theories, some really mind-boggling ones that make you question fandoms and make you question the writers.
We do like theories.
So there's a Stranger Things theory that actually proves that we already know who's going to die in the next season, because we know that in every season there's always a big death. But what if I told you that we know who's going to die in season 5?
How do we know?
Okay, so throughout the show, we see in season 1, we see Barb dies, then we see Benny dies, and then in season 2, we see Bob Newby, and then Bob Newby dies, and then in season 3, we see how Billy dies, and then in season 4, Brenner dies. But do you see this connection of all the deaths?
No.
So basically, any character in Stranger Things that has the first name or last name that starts with a B always dies. So in season 5, that could be Bauman, it could be Buckley, it could be any of the Byers, and it could also be Bingham that dies too. I am predicting right now, one of them are going.
It does make sense a lot of deaths are coming, because even Noah Schnapp said that a lot of deaths are going to be in season 5.
If a lot of deaths are coming, and you see the trend of all the B names all dying, the tradition is not going to stop all of a sudden for season 5.
Right. I never even noticed that. That's so weird.
Season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4 all had B deaths.
Oh my gosh. When you really think about it, it's kind of crazy because it's been the same trend every season.
I feel like Will's mom will die.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be
I think Jonathan's going to sacrifice himself too, so that Steve ends up,
Oh, yeah. I could definitely see that happening.
Okay, so moving on. At once, this was a theory. Okay. Now, it is becoming a fact. Now, this affects every single person with an iPhone.
iPhone?
An iPhone. If you're an iPhone user, you must listen to this because this is very important to you.
Oh, boy.
So do you know how to make sure that your phone is not spying on you?
How?
So we all know how sometimes we're talking about like dog toys or going to the gym, and then all of a sudden we open up our phone or our computer, and all of a sudden all these ads pop up for dog toys and going to the gym. But what if I told you there's a way to stop your phone from spying on you like that?
That happens to me literally all the time.
Okay, so the first thing you have to do is go to your settings, then go to privacy and security, and then click on the microphone. And then when you click on the microphone, all these apps pop up, and the ones that are listening to you will come up on that list. And then you go back to privacy and security, and then there's actually a tracking tab, and you click on that. Those are all the apps that are tracking your like activity and everything you do. And then if you go back to the privacy and security and you scroll down, you'll see that it says Apple advertising. And then when you click on that, you can actually turn off personalized ads, and that will stop your phone from listening to you when you're talking about certain brands and things you like.
I mean, it's got to be better that you just turn it off just to be safe.
Yeah, I mean, who wants someone listening to you all the time?
Dude, that's sketchy. I didn't know there was an actual setting for that.
And you know what's so interesting too? Like whenever you say "Hey Siri,"
Yeah.
the fact is that your phone's always listening to you for that to even happen, right? For Siri to listen,
Oh.
to be like, "Oh yeah, I'm here."
That is so true.
So you can turn off Siri too.
Yeah, I always oh, that is bad. If you just say, "Hey Siri," it'll come up.
Okay, so this next part, before I tell you a crazy story, I want to talk about like the psychology of our brains. And I used to do like a lot of videos about like psychology, facts, and stuff.
Yeah.
So I wanted to find out, deep dive into your brain, and to deep
My
dive
brain.
into everyone's brain that's listening to this and watching this.
Okay.
So do you know how to tell if you actually have a normal brain?
Okay, I'm actually kind of scared to find out.
So I saw this video on Reddit, and basically there's a series of questions I can ask you to make sure that your brain is considered normal and your mind is considered normal.
Okay, what's the questions?
So you have to answer these questions as fast as you can. So first question, think of a number between 1 and 10.
Okay.
So now double that number and add 8 to it, and then divide that number by 2, and then you subtract your initial first number by that number.
Okay.
Okay, so now take your number that you have right now and match it to the letter in the alphabet. So if your number is 1, it would be A. If your number is 2, it would be B. And if your number is 3, it would be C.
Okay, I got the letter.
So now think of a country that begins with that letter.
Okay.
Okay, so once you have that country, now I want you to pick the next letter in the alphabet. So if your initial letter was A, it would now be B. And if your initial letter was B, it would now be C.
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
So now choose an animal that name starts with that letter, and also pick a color that you envision that animal having.
Okay.
So if you chose a gray elephant from Denmark, you have considered a normal mind.
Shut up.
Dude, isn't that crazy?
Wait a second. What? That's exactly what I was thinking about.
It's nuts.
Wait a second. How did you do that?
I saw this video on Reddit, right?
Okay.
And that happened to me. That exact answer.
You got the same thing?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Comment if you got something different, but we all got the same thing. Well, Daniel and I did.
Dude, that's sketchy.
Now I want to talk about a real life crazy story.
Oh,
Now,
here we go.
this story is so dark, so many twists in this story that I just couldn't believe it, how many twists there are.
Oh, we like a good story though.
So this is why you should never date a model.
Wait, why?
So this is one of the darkest stories ever. So back in 2013 in Miami, there was this model named Victoria Campbell. And at the time, she was like new to modeling and she was rising in popularity and like all over social media. And she was known for being super beautiful. And basically photographers started categorizing that type of look as the Victoria look. So everyone was like inspired by her. And as time would pass, Victoria was becoming more and more popular for her beauty and her like type of unique look. And this caused a bunch of models to want to try to replicate Victoria's beauty. So they would start trying to copy her style and looks.
Okay.
So many models would copy her and try to look like her. And then even girls that looked like Victoria that weren't models saw that there was an opportunity to be a model because they looked like Victoria. So they started modeling too. And in Miami, this caused like a mini surge of models coming about.
Dude, I've never even heard of this person.
Yeah, I mean, in the big scheme of things, she was actually a really small model. But like over time, Victoria was getting more and more obsessed with how she looked. And she was so cautious on trying to preserve her body because she was worried that people were copying her. And she wanted to make sure she stayed the way she looked. So she would always complain to her boyfriend about how people were copying her and how she's getting older and not looking the same. And her boyfriend would always tell her like, you're beautiful, like I love you, you're like the best. And this really made Victoria upset because she was like, there's so many girls now that look like me. How are you just telling this to me? You might love them all. So a couple days pass and Victoria goes to a fashion show and all of a sudden this young girl named Lily, who's also a model that looks very similar to Victoria, walks up to Victoria and tells her, I am such a big fan of you. You've inspired me so much. And then all of a sudden Victoria's face changes and looks at Lily and says, oh my gosh, you're so young, you're so new to the industry. Let me help you and try to mentor you and try to get you the proper steps you need to go. And Victoria tells Lily, like, I'll give you some advice and also I'll give you like a private shoot with my personal photographers at my studio.
That seems like a nice thing to do.
So Lily is so shocked and says, yes, I will for sure 100% do that. Thank you for like offering that to me. So Victoria tells Lily, like, on Tuesday, come to my studio and I'll help you. So Tuesday comes along and Lily walks up to the studio and she looks in the window and she notices that it's super dark inside the studio. She's knocking on the door, no one's answering. But then she notices on the side of the building, there was an opening to get into the studio. She walks in, it's pitch dark. She can't see a thing. She's calling out for Victoria. No one's there. And she's just speaking to herself and her voice is just echoing. And then all of a sudden, Lily hears this voice that says, watch out, it's gonna fall on you. So boom, a huge studio light from the ceiling falls on Lily, crushing her to her death. And then all of a sudden, Victoria runs into the studio and calls the police and says, oh my gosh, Lily, like, are you okay? And obviously she's like long gone. So the police come and they're trying to investigate what happened.
Dude, what the heck?
So Victoria starts telling the police how she was about to walk into the studio. And by the time when she walked in, she heard a loud bang. And then she just saw Lily's body on the ground.
She totally killed her.
So the police were really skeptical of Victoria. And they realized like, okay, we got to investigate this further. So they get the security footage and they actually found there's a security camera minutes before Lily's death that you actually see Victoria approaching the studio. So she wasn't in the building technically when the light fell on Lily. So a couple days pass and Victoria goes out to like get some coffee with a friend, and this friend's also a model, and she tells Victoria like, everyone thinks that you killed Lily, and there's like a lot of talk that Victoria is actually a really bad person. And Victoria tells her like, no, I did not kill her, I did nothing wrong. So a few months go by and Victoria's at another fashion show, and she's working so hard and she's preparing all the outfits, and all of a sudden this young model walks up to Victoria again and says like, hey Victoria, like, is there any chance that I could like spend like 10 minutes with you and talk about your career? And for Victoria, she was already kind of shooken up by the last thing with Lily, so she doesn't want to even talk to anybody or help anyone in the modeling career anymore. And then she just tells her like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm too busy, like maybe another time. And then the young girl asks her like, well, what if I could just shadow you and just stand here and just watch how you do your thing? And Victoria's like, okay, sure, like you could just, you know, stay off to the side, watch what we do, and try to learn something. So the girl's name is Carmen, and Carmen's on the set watching Victoria work, and all of a sudden, you know, Victoria is telling her a few things like, hey, I'm going to put the dress here. This is a type of pose that's really good for like this type of shot. And Carmen's like taking notes, and she's like writing all this down. And the one thing that's so unique about Carmen is that she looks very similar like Victoria. So later in the day, Carmen goes to the crafts table where they have snacks and stuff, and she's eating like these Jello, whatever, and they had coffee, and she's drinking the coffee. And then a couple hours later, they find Carmen dead on the ground.
Wait, what? She's dead?
So Victoria's freaking out, right? Everyone on set calls the police, call the paramedics. They come and they try to save Carmen. Unfortunately, they can't save her. And they find out that she was actually poisoned by the coffee. They found like remnants of poison in the coffee.
Who's killing all these people?
So after this day, Victoria was totally done modeling. She didn't want to have anything to do with the industry. So like years pass, and Victoria's in her house, and she's cleaning up her attic, and she's like moving like her old dresses, her old like portraits, and like different things for fashion shows. And then she finds a box of rat poison in her attic, and she's like, when did I ever buy rat poison? Like, that's so weird. And then she looks to her right, and she sees like all these like papers, right? And on these papers were actually all these headshots of models that looked very similar to Victoria when she was younger. And then she noticed that a lot of the girls that died were in this list, but like all this stack of photos.
What the?
And she started trying to piece it together, and she realized that all the murders of these models stopped after she broke up with her boyfriend. And it turns out that her boyfriend was murdering these models because he was worried that it would like threaten her career, and he was tired of her always complaining about this model's like copying me, or this model is like going to take my career. So he started like secretly killing them because he tried to show like how much he loved her.
Dude, that is crazy.
It is crazy.
What the heck?
It's so weird that it took years and the guy never was found, you know?
Dude, that's so weird. And it's like you would think it's Victoria doing it.
Right.
That's scary, but it's him.
It's him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you just never know. You can't ever trust anyone. Just be safe out there, because there's some wacko people out there.
Yeah, so staying on the topic of like crazy stuff, there's also something that happened in the 90s about aliens.
Are we talking about like a real life alien experience, or like oh, we saw a picture of on a cave of like an alien?
So there's this school in South Africa that claims there was a real alien sighting, but what's crazy about this is they said that there was 62 students that saw the alien.
How are you supposed to believe a bunch of kids claiming they saw an alien?
Right, but what's crazy is reporters then went onto the school site and sectioned off the kids and asked them what they saw, and they all had the same story and same explanations of what the aliens looked like. Like they said, they all had really big black eyes, and there was tall figures standing next to a silver disc in the trees.
So they all interviewed the kids, and each kid had the same story.
Yeah, and to push it even further, they asked the kids to draw what they saw, and the kids all drew the same exact thing. So it looks like they all saw the same exact thing.
That is so freaky that they all drew the same thing.
Right? It's kind of weird. Now it makes you skeptical. Like, did they actually see something?
The only way you can explain them all drawing the same thing is that they had to all see the same thing.
Right. It's kind of weird because if you look at the drawings they made, like they put like the silver disc like in the trees. They all pointed in the same direction. Like we saw it over there.
Yeah.
And they all pointed in the same tree line. And it's just so weird because they draw the silver disc in the tree line, and they all drew like the same alien.
That's so crazy.
I mean, yes, it looks kind of like a typical alien, like what you would think it would be like. But it's just weird that they all drew the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, you know, when you have a group of kids, right? Some kids want to be different. Some kids don't recall the same thing. They don't want to be all the same.
That is true.
But it's amazing that for once you have a group of 60 kids or whatever, and they all agree and they all have the same story. That is crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like you can even get a group of kids to tell them one thing, right? And play a game of telephone, and have them all want to say the same thing, right? So the fact is, they must have all saw it.
Yeah, but moving on, there's also a crazy Marvel theory for this week.
Marvel. The world is going to collide this Thursday when Spider-Verse releases, because it's going to just break the internet. I don't know what I'm saying.
So there's a theory that Thanos never actually destroyed the Infinity Stones, and that in Endgame he's actually lying because he tells the Avengers that he used the stones to destroy the stones and they're reduced down to atoms. But there's a theory that we actually see the stones that Thanos said he destroyed.
Wait, where do we see them?
So in Ant-Man Quantumania, we see in the quantum realm there's a species of people that actually have glowing heads that are like stones, and the colors of their heads match exactly what the Infinity Stones were. So the theory is that these people are actually the remnants of the destroyed Infinity Stones, and they're in the quantum realm. Because when you think about it, if they're reduced to atoms, it makes sense that they're in the quantum realm where you're the size of an atom.
I feel like that makes a lot of sense.
It's kind of crazy, right?
No, it's crazy because like here you think, oh, the stones, they blow up, they get destroyed, they just vanish, right? Like
Right.
They disintegrate into like little particles. But you think about, yeah, it would make sense that maybe they are living in the quantum realm.
Exactly, because if they're reduced to atoms, and you have to reduce to the size of an atom, if not smaller, to be in the quantum realm,
Right.
it makes sense that they're there.
Yeah, it does make sense.
So I know last week we also talked about how AI is casting shows.
Yeah, when you showed me the Friends casting with AI, I felt like the women casting was pretty right on. The Daniel Radcliffe as Ross, though, was a little off to me.
So someone asked AI to create a live action Rick and Morty, and they actually made concept art for the show.
Oh, this should be good.
Yeah, so these photos are what the AI made. So first is Rick Sanchez will be played by Robert Downey Jr. Then Morty Smith will be played by Tom Holland.
I feel like this duo would be really funny.
Yeah, so Summer will be played by Emma
Oh
Stone.
my gosh.
Jerry will be Ed Helms, and Beth, it looks like they tried to make like Elizabeth Banks.
That would make a good cast.
Right? It's kind of crazy how that could work.
It's crazy how they look like their characters, too.
But the only problem is like their age, right? The ages kind of throw things off.
Well, with technology now, you could de-age, we could make age up, we could change it up, we can make a baby an adult.
That is true.
Got Benjamin Button over here.
We all know the Robert Downey Jr. Tom Holland duo is like such a powerhouse duo.
Yeah, I mean, you already have like proof of concept, right? Because you've seen it on Avengers that it works so well.
So I would like to see that.
It would be like iconic if that happened. I hope we get to see them reunite at some point.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this podcast, listening to the podcast. If you're new to the channel, like I said earlier, smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment what you guys want us to talk about next week, and we'll talk about it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow on TikTok, and we'll see you guys next Sunday or Saturday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Make sure you stay tuned. We are going to be seeing Spider-Verse Across the Spider-Verse on Tuesday.
We'll see you on the TikTok.
God bless you guys. See ya.
Love ya.